Okay, up next on Uncut Interviews is Mike Reno from Loverboy. And this kind of gave me the idea to do all these things and put them up on YouTube. I had been searching for something, and all of a sudden a piece of Mike Reno Loverboy came up on YouTube, and it looked familiar, and I clicked on it, and it was the exact interview edit and everything I did for the airlines playing up there, and it had like 35,000 views. And I'm like, how did somebody get this, put it up there? Because literally I shot it, I edited it, I put it on the airlines, and then no one ever sees it again. It's gone. So I don't know how somebody got it or whatever. And I went, well, if people are interested in this kind of content, I might as well put some of this stuff up and see where it goes. Again, I'm not trying to make any money on this, just trying to put it out there, because otherwise this stuff's just gone. But this is Mike Reno. He was a very good interview. We oddly had this scheduled for another date about 5 months earlier, and it was 9/11 of 2001. And obviously we did not do it that day. I remember the PR lady giving me a call, and his exact words were, I don't think anybody wants to hear me talking about red leather pants on a day like today. So about 5 or 6 months later, in March of 2002, we actually got back together in Anaheim. They were playing at the Grove Theater. We got up into a hotel room and talked to Mike for a little over a half hour. And it was really fun revisiting his past and those hits from the 80s. And this was the album they were promoting at the time, Loud and Loose. So he will tell you a little bit about where this came from and what they were up to at the time.
Loverboy was part of the first MTV kind of startup where it was a different way of, I think, breaking into music, where all of a sudden you had to have a music video and everything else. What was that time like?
Loverboy was actually one of the first groups to send in videos to MTV the first week that they were up and running. Somebody phoned over to CBS and said, we got a new video channel. You got any bands? We need videos. So they sent us, we were on the road, but we went into Albany, New York, into this old theater. It was like a really cool old theater. And we cut 3 videos in like 2 days, just over and over again, and basically did it for hardly anything at all. You know, $25,000 or something. Nowadays, you can't even get a makeup girl in for $25,000. But anyways, and we sent three videos into MTV the first week they were going, and it was for the song "Turn Me Loose," "The Kid Is Hot Tonight," and "Lucky Ones."
And did they start playing them, or did they pick one that they liked? Or
I'll tell you what, we became like the #1 MTV band right off the bat. I mean, you know, it was a new format, so people really didn't know where it was going to go. But MTV just completely, you know, it turned us into visual superstars, because you know, you play a concert every night, you play all year long. Those people see you, they recognize you. But as soon as they get you on television, I think it's a whole different ballgame. And for us, it kind of gave a face to the band. Everybody knew what we looked like, you know, so it became a little more difficult to move around in the early part of the career. You know, it was a bit of the old Beatles. You had to kind of go in the back, up the back service elevator, and you know, but it was fun. I mean, it's all fun.
yeah, I imagine. And you guys were in your 20s, single at that time,
Single in our
having a
20s,
good time.
living large. We loved it. I wouldn't change a thing. Loverboy had a fantastic beginning, a fantastic middle, and now we're doing fantastic things now. I mean, we're still happy. We're still playing. We're all together, you know, doing what we do.
Great. Let me just tell me a little bit about your live shows that you do now. Like, what's you don't have a formula for it, but you guys obviously have to go out and have a good time, or you wouldn't keep doing it.
We have a formula for our shows. We get up there and we have more fun than the audience. We just show them that we can still play, and a lot of people tell us we play better, which is nice, because you don't want to get lousy. You know, you kind of shove them off to the old age home. What we do is we get up there and we rock hard, we sing well, we play well, and we have a lot of high energy stuff. The songs are positive, and the crowd gets right into it. The crowd knows all the words, so it's just a giant party. But we just try to have more fun than the audience, basically.
That's perfect. Eric and I saw you guys. Must have been about 5 years ago now. What was that
Maybe
place?
more than that, it was Buffalo.
6 years at Buffalo Bills in Vegas, where you co-headlined with Cheap Trick.
Oh, that was a while back, yeah.
But you didn't have the lead guitarist, wasn't there? I was bummed.
Are you sure?
You had a fill-in guy or something.
Oh, right. He had that wrist thing.
Oh, I just thought maybe he wasn't with the band or whatever, and I went.
No,
"Oh,
he just
man,
took
that
2
was-"
weeks off. Doctor says don't
Oh, okay.
do anything for 2 weeks.
So I just missed
A
it.
friend of ours from Australia was in a band with this great band that was touring, and he was from Vancouver, and he just walked in and picked up the guitar and played all the songs for us. So, I mean, it was either that or cancel, right?
Yeah.
So we did it.
Okay, I remember that now. That's good on the live show. So this, are you on like a perpetual tour, or are you touring, seasonally, or?
We do between 80 and 100 shows a year, and a lot of them are in the summertime. We tend to take most of December, January off, and then we get back into it. February, March, April, we start playing weekends, and by May and June, we're pretty much out. For the whole 4 months. We get a little time off here and there, but we do a lot of state fairs, county fairs, all kinds of festivals, really fun stuff. And we usually play with a lot of different bands that we know: REO Speedwagon, Cheap Trick, Survivor. We're always out there with groups that we know. Kansas, we play with a lot. Festivals are fun. People are just out there to have a good time. Giant stage, good weather. It's always fun for us.
Great. I saw you, I think 2 summers ago at the Irvine Spectrum down here, in an outdoor thing.
That was
Irvine
kind of
Spectrum
interesting.
nights.
We try to avoid playing mall parking lots.
Yeah.
But
That was a nice night. There wasn't
can't-
hardly many people there.
you can't win them all,
It was
right?
a weird, yeah. But it was a good show. Actually, the thing that struck me about
Somebody said we're playing the Irvine Spectrum, and I was all excited. I get down there, and it was the Irvine Spectrum Mall parking lot, and I went
yeah, you expected it to be the Spectrum, like a big, huge
exactly,
arena.
and I was all excited, calling my friends to come down, and it was the parking lot at the Irvine Spectrum Mall. You can't win them all. I mean, we win a lot of them. We got a great agency in New York, ICM, and they have affiliates all over the place. We get a lot of great shows. We get the same booking agent we've had for 22 years, and all the same guys, and just a good time.
Cool. The album Get Lucky, which was your second, right?
Right.
That seemed to like really launch you guys into the stratosphere. As far as, can you tell me a little bit about how that album changed your careers?
Well, we did our second album. We did it in a 5-week break between tours. We'd just come off the road. We were on the road for a year with ZZ Top, and the first album was hitting the radio stations, and it was doing very well. ZZ Top were very happy with that. We had packed houses because of it. Became very good friends with all the guys in ZZ Top. Nice fellas. We really kind of broke into the business, with the big stage, the tour bus, the travel, the whole interviews, radio stations. We got home. We had 5 weeks. We cut the second album in 5 weeks, Get Lucky, and it came out with a bang, and it actually catapulted us into headlining stage right off the bat. And not a lot of groups get to headline, right off the bat like that, because headline's a whole different game. You're paying for everything, and you got to really attract the crowd, and you got to do all the extra work. So Get Lucky brought us up to the headline status, and we were in the big leagues.
Oh yeah, because there was a lot of hits off that album. I was just
A
looking
lot of
at it.
hits off that one.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, pretty amazing. Why don't we comment about the songs you're going to play, the ones that I'll tape? Start with the early one, Turn Me Loose.
Turn Me Loose, I think, is the biggest crowd favorite. The intro, when they hear the keyboards, and then the bass sneaks in, and then it just rolls, and the big scream, and everybody sings the words. Turn Me Loose is a great, fun song. Basically about having enough. You've had it with the boss, you've had it with whatever, and you just want to go and have fun. And a lot of our songs tend to kind of generate around having fun. That was the big thing with Loverboy. We just wanted to have fun. We were political. We didn't want to change the world. We just wanted to have a little fun. And Turn Me Loose, I guess, would be the number one pick by the fans, unless Working for the Weekend. I don't know. When you hear that cowbell start, Working for the Weekend, it could be a toss-up between either one of those songs.
Great. Well, Working for the Weekend is kind of an anthem in a way.
Working for the Weekend is an anthem. A lot of radio stations, even now, this is like 20 years later, at 5 o'clock, you hear the cowbell, and it's let's go. It's bam, 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 boosh. Everybody's working for the weekend. and that sets up your weekend. And a lot of radio stations still use it. It's fun. It had a lot of legs, that song, and the crowd loves it. The crowd loves it even now. I love singing it too. It's a fun song. High energy rock.
Yeah, they always play that, or they play "Bang on the Drum" all day, the Todd Rundgren one,
Right.
which drives me crazy. I'm like, stop it. Then "Hot Girls in Love" would be the last song to talk about.
Hot Girls in Love. It was a great song for live because it's so fast, and it gives the audience a chance to kind of join in because they always take the "Hot Girls in Love" part, and it was a great video too. That one had a great video of us doing fun things and just jumping on barrels and girls and cars and just all the good stuff. "Hot Girls in Love," fabulous. I don't know if it was a huge a single hit, but it's a crowd pleaser in concert.
Was that the one that was the MTV contest? He was just talking about. He remembered there was an MTV contest on that song for someone girl to be in the video.
The song that was on the MTV contest was "Queen of the Broken Hearts," and they had to join a contest to get in to be in the video for "Queen of the Broken Hearts." This is a great story, and the girl that won actually brought her mom to the shoot, and it was actually her mom who was going to be in the video, and she went out to the Mojave Desert in this limo to be part of the video shoot, and she was so nervous she wouldn't get out of the car. She locked the doors and she wouldn't get out of the car, and the director and producer couldn't get her out of the car, and it was time to shoot something. And then by the time they did get her out of the car, I think she drank all the minibar just to kind of get some courage, and boy, it was funny. And so they kind of positioned her in the cave scene with all the scantily clad cave women. The great being in a rock band, I'll tell you. And they panned the camera on her for about a second and a half, and that made her officially in the video. And she was too nervous to even meet the band. I think she blew it big time. She won the contest. She could have hung out and had a lot of fun with us, but nervous. She was just nervous.
Oh, that's funny. Do you have that video?
Yeah,
Or can we get that one?
I think I have it on beta. Yeah.
Okay. But you have some so we can use as filler,
Yeah.
right? It's cutaway stuff. Great.
Yeah, I definitely have
I'm picking up a lot of vacuuming sound.
There is a vacuumer outside.
Here, let's just.
Yeah.
Let me just shut the
Maybe
door.
they can come in here and do a little. Yeah.
Okay. Let me kind of hit that one. I was going to ask you what touring must be different now. You might have more fun with it because you're not out necessarily promoting that next album or on this train that just probably started. Is it different now than it was back then?
Yep. Touring's different now. It's not so intense. It was very intense. We never got to go home. We had, we had a few of the luxuries. We had our own plane, but we had all the stress that went along with it. 5 shows a week, one after the other. Huge things you had to do, just stuff that you have to do. And nowadays we don't have to do that much. We go out, we play 3 shows a week, 4 maybe. You get a day off here and there. You get to go home once in a while. You get to have a normal life. You get to, coach the hockey team if you want. We take some months off. Where before, when we took months off, we were always in the studio. So times have changed a bit, and nice. It's a nice change. I didn't want to work till the day I die. I like to work, and I like to sing concerts. But 285 shows a year is a little much. We kind of cut it back to about between 80 and 100 depending on the year, and that's plenty enough for us.
Yeah, makes sense. As a singer, who was your influences when you were getting started?
Wow, I was into the Beatles got me in the business. I saw the movie Hard Day's Night and Help, and went down and bought myself a Beatle jacket and Beatle hat and Beatle boots. I was in. Set of drums. Played in my brother's band. But the singers that kind of really got me influenced at the beginning were people like Stevie Winwood, Paul Rogers. I always liked Grand Funk, Creedence Clearwater, Led Zeppelin. I mean, I was into those singers. Really sang, and I just I had to sing a lot of those songs. I was a singer. I started young. I started playing and doing shows. I had a band when I was 16, and
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Tahoe of Western Canada. It's the mountains with the lakes and the vineyards. a little place called Penticton, and we had fruit and hockey players. That's what we grew there.
Like outside of Whistler, that type of area, or
East
Vancouver?
east of Vancouver,
Okay.
about 5 hours by car east of
Okay.
Vancouver, up in the mountains.
Oh, must be pretty up there.
Yeah, it's nice.
This is one I always enjoy asking. Over the years of touring, are there any interesting stories or a weird pairing, like someone who you opened up for, or they opened up for you, that was like totally funny now that you look back at it?
Wow, I'd have to think about that for a sec. I know what you're getting at. It's like the Monkees were headlining and the Who were the warm-up act. You know, I remember that. I remember hearing that one. We always had a pretty good set. I remember traveling across. I think we were in Los Angeles or something. They said you got a show tomorrow night in Philadelphia, so we had to drive as fast as we could. I think we had 2 days to get there. We were in the bus. We got there about 20 minutes before showtime. We literally got out of the bus, put a hose on our heads because we didn't even have time to have showers, just to kind of grime off from this huge fast ride, and walked on stage. And I look out in the crowd. There's 90,000 people there, 98,000 people, JFK Stadium. I'm just going, wow. And I look to the side, and there's some of the guys in the Kinks and Chrissy Hine and some of the guys in Foreigner, and I just went, wow, this is great. But I do remember one time we played. I think it was called Sun Temple Stadium in Phoenix. And it was a huge outdoor summertime festival. And we were on with The Who and Loverboy. It was just before The Who, and just before us was John Cougar Mellencamp. And we were relaxing because we had an hour before we were supposed to get on. Somebody came rushing into the dressing room and said, "You guys are on in 20 minutes. And we says, "Why?" And he says, "Somebody just cold cocked Mellencamp with a bottle." You know, and the funny thing was, we actually didn't have to go on because I got a hold of it. He got up and sang "It Hurt So Good," and I thought, wow, you know, that's great. You know, "Hurt So Good." You get hit in the head with a bottle, and you get up and you sing "Hurt So Good." Fabulous.
I think my oldest brother went to that show, and he was at Northern Arizona University at that time. He went to see The Who, and he said he was telling me John Cougar got like booed off the stage.
Yeah, he had a bit of a tough time.
Yeah, and he was just like belligerent with him, like, "I'm doing it anyway," and that's probably when he got the bottle at him. That would be tough, though.
He was giving him some attitude.
Being thrown in the Who crowd would be a whole different ballgame.
You know, one of the most interesting stories for me is we had a whole a year-long tour with ZZ Top, and in that year we had great shows. Almost all of them are great shows, and even the one I'm going to tell you about was a great show, but it was a bit tough. It was in Cape Cod, and it turned out that every like Harley Davidson, Hell's Angel type guy, a motorcycle club type guy, was out there for that concert because I guess they drove their bikes out. So the whole place was full of guys in their colors. And we walked out and we're singing our "Kid Is Hot Tonight," and we're singing, you know, our upbeat, you know, pop songs. And we weren't getting much respect. You know, it was a tough crowd. So Paul Dean comes up to the mic and goes, "Yeah, you want to throw stuff?" So he walks off to the stage and he grabs his helmet off one of the workers who was working there, and he put this helmet on, and they pelted the stage even more with bottles and cans and stuff. And we're all standing there and we're playing through it. We're getting pelted with stuff. That was a tough one. But you know, I don't have many of those because most nights it was just so great for Loverboy. And even that night was an experience to remember. You know, it wasn't that negative. Nobody got hurt.
Oh, that's good. Nothing like that '69 Altamont concert with the Stones.
Yeah.
I always see that. Oh, it turned into a nasty one. What one thing is that you're most proud of in your career?
Well, I think the thing I'm most proud of is 1 year in Canada, we won 8 Juno Awards, which is the equivalent to Grammy Awards. It's the Canadian version of a Grammy Award. And the MC for that show was Burton Cummings, who's famous from the Guess Who. And it was Loverboy this, and Loverboy was being called onto the stage so much. When he broke for a commercial, he said, We'll be right back to the Loverboy Awards right after these words from our sponsor. And I thought, boy, kid, you've made it now. You know, and I remember holding one of them up and said, Mom, this one's for you, you know. I mean, that was fabulous. It was like we won every award we got nominated for.
Wow.
And I think we still hold that. So I'm pretty proud of the fact that we still hold that that record.
Oh, that's great. I interviewed Burnt Cummings once. He's a cool guy. I don't know if you got to talk to him much or.
Hey, I know Bert.
Okay. I had a great time with him. Now, you had an album out that we were going to talk about last fall, but it's still out, of course. Live, Loud, and Loose. Can you tell me a little bit about that album?
Live, Loud, and Loose are the best moments of the peak years of Loverboy. The record company got together and said, we've got these tapes in the vaults of all your concerts between 1982 and 1986. And we recorded a lot for different shows, radio shows, King Biscuit Flower Hour, you know, just all these different shows. And we took them up to Vancouver and we started mixing them. And we came up with this great CD and we put it in the set. So it's like song one right through the encore. And with the crowd and everything in the big hall, you know, 25 years old, just singing great and having a good time. Everybody's favorite songs, plus a few kind of concert songs that we threw in. We don't even play some of those songs now. So it's a real great experience. You know, you throw the CD in your car, and by the time you're about an hour and a half away, you've got the full vibe of a Loverboy concert in the early to mid '80s.
So it's taken from a bunch of different shows throughout the years.
Yeah, we got best ofs. You know, one night it would be La Crosse, Wisconsin. One night it's Cincinnati. One night it's Detroit. We got one show in there for Vancouver, something from Texas. So it's pretty much, you know, the best of concerts, whatever sounded the best, because we didn't do any overdubs. Well, we didn't do any fix-ups. We just basically remixed, you know, we went digital with it and remixed it, so it sounds great.
What's in the future? Do you guys have any new music plans? Or?
We're trying to get some stuff placed on soundtracks. We've been recording. We've had some songs that almost got on soundtracks. We've had a lot of success with soundtracks, so we're trying to get that going again. I love singing love songs, so I've been cutting some love songs and sending them down, and maybe we'll get lucky enough to get one in a great movie, and everybody will go out and buy the soundtrack, and it'll just kind of rekindle. What we'd like to do is do a new album, and we more than likely will. But the way I'd like to do it is come up with a big soundtrack, smashy soundtrack hit, and then have the new album in the wings. You know, it just kind of sets up Loverboy's new album, which is something we love to do because we're always recording, and we've always got songs.
Yeah, you're right. If you had it, you'd have it right there. And
Absolutely. I mean, we had the big hit in Footloose. We had the big hit in the Tom Cruise Top Gun. And it's always done well for us.
Great. Where were you guys living at the time when, the peak of, say, around the Get Lucky, you know, that where it was just going crazy? Were you guys all living in Canada still, or did you move to LA? Or
We were living in a tour bus.
oh,
Where were we lived? We've always lived in Vancouver, and we still do. We moved a little bit outside of Vancouver, you know, over here across the pond. But everybody's pretty much in Vancouver or close to it, and we've always remained there, and we just fly out of there for our concert tours. We're in the States a lot. We love the States. We feel like we're dual citizens. So
great. Got that. Let me just check here real fast. Oh, going back to kind of the 80s, can you kind of sum up what the 80s were like, or what musically, or anything?
the '80s to me were positive lyrics, high energy, fun, party, good times. Loverboy was one of the top 10 bands in the world. So anything you can imagine a bunch of 25-year-olds doing, just times it by 10, and you see how great it was. The 80s were great for us. We really enjoyed ourselves. You know, we all did things in moderation. We all survived. We're all here today. We love the 80s. The 80s was fabulous. I just love the grooves of the songs and the positivity of the lyrics. I think it's coming back. I noticed a lot of the stuff right now is very positive, very melodic, and I'm quite happy with that because I think that the 80s influence is kind of coming back, which is great.
Great. Can you think of anything else I missed, Lori? Or Eric, can you think of anything?
I just want to know about the name.
Oh, okay. Where did the name Loverboy come from?
The name Loverboy came from Pauline and I after writing some songs one night, sitting around with the girlfriends, and we were watching a movie or something and just hanging out. And we noticed the girls had Cosmopolitan and Vogue and stuff. They were leafing through the magazines, looking at the clothes. And Paul kind of looks over at me and he says, "What about Coverboy?" I went, "I don't know, Coverboy, that's not bad. You know, we can dress up and make sure we look good, and maybe Coverboy would be pretty cool." So the night ended, and that was it. I thought, that's not a bad name, Coverboy. We get together the next day, and Paul goes, "Loverboy. Let's call ourselves Loverboy. It'll be so tongue-in-cheek. It'll be so sassy. You know, people either love it or hate it." So, and I just went, "Loverboy, that's great," because it made me excited. You know, Coverboy was pretty good, but Loverboy was sassy, man. That was good. I mean, if you can call yourself Loverboy and survive and get away with it, I think you got something.
That's perfect. Did you think of anything?
That's pretty much it. I mean, you don't want to talk about Scott Wright because that would bring the whole piece
Not
down,
necessarily, unless you
right?
want to.
Right?
I don't want to.
Yeah.
That would, otherwise you covered it.
Yeah. Is there anything else you can think of that you'd like to say, or
Really up
kinda
to you.
covers it? Yeah, I think that'll cut into a nice piece.
Very nice.
I guess the only thing, still got enough tape on that roll, or?
Yeah, you're 25 minutes right
Oh, good. Is if you could like
Actually, now
look
26.
right at the lens and just go, "Hi, I'm Mike Reno of Loverboy. Thank you for joining me on this flight." Something
Okay.
like that. You can do that right to the lens.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Reno from Loverboy. Thank you for joining me on this flight.
And then once in a while, I'm getting on Princess Cruises also. So can you do one like, come sail with me, or I guess it wouldn't be
No, sail with
sailing,
me.
but hope you're enjoying your cruise or
you go.
something along that line.
All right.
Remember the Dramamine.
Hi, I'm Mike Reno from Loverboy. I hope you're enjoying your cruise on the Princess Cruise Line.
Perfect. Okay. Cool.
Stop tape.
Yeah.